Hi guys, this is Lucky Luke for PokerTube coming at you with an all new series, and this series will be tracking all the action that I managed to encounter in those two great added money tournaments that PokerTube runs each and every week. If you don't know about these already, they're running on two of the iPoker skins. This one that we're playing tonight, or we're reviewing tonight, is the William Hill. They're both €3 entries, but with quite different structures other than that. The William Hill event, which is on Monday nights, 8 p.m. British summertime, is actually a deep stack 6-max event. And the Ladbrokes, which is on the Tuesday night, same time, 8 p.m., is standard starting stack full ring. So can't get much different than those two. But what they do have in common is that they both have added money. So you're looking here, lads and lasses, at free money, guaranteed overlay every time you sit down to play. Okay, so can't ask for more than that, really, can you? But they do provide a little bit more on top, which comes in the form of the PokerTube Super League. I'm certainly going to be trying to work my way up this one as well. So the Super League does come with regular prizes for top performers across a period of time. So there are PlayStation 4s to be won and all sorts of good prizes there. If you want some more info on that, you'd be best advised to head along to any of the live streams, because every week for both of these events, these lads have got live streams going out of all the action all the way to final table, hosted by our man Rory. And he'll certainly be able to fill you in the live chat there about all the details if you want to get into the league action yourself. So I definitely recommend you registering to each of these sites if you haven't already, if you're not playing in these, and just jump on in. They're in the private tournament section on each of those two iPoker sites. And as you know, if you sign up with one of our own codes, you're going to get extra money in your account when you actually register to start a new account with William Hill or with Ladbrokes. If you bear with me just a moment, I will pull up for you the codes you need to do that as well. So what you want there to be adding, if you're registering a new account at William Hill and you want to get in on the PokerTube bonuses for that, you actually just enter PTWH as the code. And if you're registering on Ladbrokes for the same reason, you just enter the code TUBE. Couldn't be much easier than that. Okay, so both very good value tournaments. So we'll actually run a general strategy kind of work up on each of these in a future video, talking about what kind of return on investment you can expect to achieve in these, but certainly going to be in the double figures for sure. There's a lot of action. This was the first time I registered both of these myself, as I'm starting off with this new series. And we don't get on a mega run in this one, but we do pretty nicely, chip up pretty nicely, and we do see some pretty crazy action. So without further ado, we're going to jump straight in. We'll look at every action for one blind level, just to look at what kind of opening range we might want to be mixing it up with in a 6-max, and then we'll switch it up again. We'll just look at the actual hands we play, the key big money hands. Okay, so someone min opens cut off, and I do dump the Jack 10 off. I don't mind this. Actually, I am inclined to appeal here when we're this deep, and I imagine having just sat down, I may still be setting up my computer for the grind. So it's a bit on the tight side, I think. I think we can actually peel. We definitely have to peel big blind. But I like to peel a small blind. I think big blind in this spot is very, very rarely squeezing. Flatting behind a lot, but that doesn't matter. Jack 10 off. Jack 10 off plays pretty well. Out of position, of course, but we can still expect to have an edge post flop. So I don't mind appeal there at all, especially versus the old min open. And it looks like we're knitting it up at the start here, lads, because this is definitely an isolation spot. So a couple of quick sit down errors for me already. Definitely an isolation spot, and I'm going 400 because I'm opening 3x when we're this deep, definitely, because we want to build value post flop. So we're just adding versus limp. We'll just add on one big blind, or best part of one big blind. So we go 375 400 here. It looks good. Definitely fold is way too tight. Let's see if we're trying to mix this up. So it looks like we're missing a trick here too. I imagine what's going on here is that I'm actually sitting out, because I'm always opening this one too. 300 on the money. Let's see when we actually get to sit down. I've sat down at the table now. Looks like I was actually must have been sitting out with those folds, as you can see, since I'm opening the Jack 8 off. Now, I would recommend most of you guys to actually go 3x here. Just build that pot. I have been experimenting with the old 275x open deep, partly in some of the higher stake stuff that I play, and it works quite well there, but I think especially in the micros you want to go full value 3x. It's not going to tighten them up too much. We pick up equity, so obviously continue. Half pot seems okay, and I don't mind a double barrel here. You've got to be realist in this spot, so we know we're deep. We know it's not a very scary turn card, so I don't mind checking back here actually and just get a look for free. Try to hit that equity we need. As it happens though, ace comes off instead, and we've got to triple barrel this once we have double barrel. Once the ace falls, it's going to be very hard for him to call, even if he had a made pair on the flop. So again, probably like going a bit bigger actually than I went here. I would say probably 17 might be optimal here, just to force a few more folds off those mid pairs. It's a good spot to triple barrel as a bluff. On the river certainly, turn more debatable, as we said. It's a good open fold here, but again, we're not here just to talk about what's a good open fold. We're here to talk about what's a good opening range. We should always think in ranges, right? So I want to open any pair. It is, in my opinion, open any pair, any suited ace. I'd open those under the gun as well in a full ring, to be fair. Probably opening offsuit aces down to about ace 7 off, ace 8 off, something like that. All the broadways, all the suited connectors down to say 5-6 suited, maybe something like that. Some suited gappers, some offsuit gappers. Probably doing offsuit gappers down to let's say Jack 9 off, something like that. So you know, fairly wide range, not going crazy under the gun in 6 max, but we can still keep it pretty active. People are going to be too tight in general. Then if we do see them going wild, which I did actually more than I would usually in a 6 max to be fair, in this event, you can just adjust. There's no need to adjust in advance. Okay, so we defend here, which is pretty wide. It's pretty wide, but it's blind v blind, and we expect people to make mistakes post flop a lot in a €3 game. He goes big. Still, we've hit it pretty squarely. It's hard for each of us to hit it, so we're going to call at least one street. I do think when he goes this big again on the turn, I think we probably get away. I know we've picked up 2 pair, but it's a redundant 2 pair with the 10s out. And I think once he goes this big twice, he's going to have mid to large pairs quite a large proportion of the time, just playing them rather strongly, kind of almost overplaying them in his sizing. I do peel in game, which I think is not really advisable. And then again, as played, I think it's still a fold on the rear. It's kind of a bit of a crying fold because you know we've got the full house, but I rarely see us being ahead here. And yeah, he does have the big pair, so I think this is rather optimistic early game jitters by me, to be fair, and that we should just get away from that on the turn with his sizing. And if not on the turn, we should still get away on the river. So gifting a few chips early on, definitely erroneous by me. And I don't mind this peel at all. I don't mind a call. We're very, very deep. It's a pretty disguised hand. Don't mind peeling with second pair. It's going to be a lot of awkward turn cards for us, so I'm probably giving up on this turn card. And I'm not trying to bluff it either, really. I don't think we need to get carried away in this spot. I think it would be a mistake. So it looks like we do turn very weak showdown to bluff here, which again I don't really like. And if we do bluff here, we should definitely go bigger. So it looks like I'm just tooling around a bit in this 20 at the moment. Works out, which is nice, but yeah, definitely need to go bigger if we're bluffing this king. I think we should go 950, something like that. Need to get quite a few better hands to fold on that board if we're going to do it. And I don't mind just checking back and going for some thin showdown at all. I think that's probably fine. Sizing looks fine. Again, definitely in our opening range. Opening it up, getting a call. Don't mind giving up here. We do pick up a little bit of equity. Got the 9 ball now. We can hit for the straight. But he shouldn't be calling us very light on this very dry board. Pretty hard to hit. He's 0 of 0 for 10 hands as well, so we imagine he's probably got a hand. Just gonna check fold to normal size bet, but we do get very nice odds here, and we do think when we hit our queen or jack we're good. And then we're giving him a chance to keep going, which I don't mind too much. I could see a lead here though, lead for half pot, something like that, because we are going to get a fair amount of checkbacks, so we will lose some value. Blinds are up now, 75, 150, so we're just going to just look through the hands we actually wager money on. Definitely a defend here. I mean, I don't really want to raise super deep with the old ace-10 off. I think I'm raising a pretty conservative range here, to be honest, when deep. And could see a fold or a bluff here, because we can represent the nuts, which is always nice. So I could definitely see a bluff. It's the kind of spot I like to do that with, actually. We also do have a little bit of backdoor equity. We have bad backdoor flush, but we have the gut shot to the 8. So, yeah, I could definitely see a raise to like 11 something here. We go for the flat, which is fine. We get there, which is always nice. So blind v blind, I could see a flat too. I mean, we are going to get less respect, so we have less. We're going to get fewer folds with our bluff. So there are better positions to do that with, I think. Although I like the stack depth for the play. So when he goes half pot here, definitely have to raise to protect our hand from those diamonds, and just to try to get value. So I like to go around pot. I think that's fine. 21. Of course, he only has to call 14. So, you know, we're not asking for him to call a huge amount. He's calling 14 into 42. Okay. So, you know, quite reasonable for him to do that with a fair bit of his range. 4 comes off, which is a pretty nice card. Okay, because we're going to get called by that 5 ball a little bit more, even though it doesn't make any sense for that to happen. People will do it more, especially in a low stakes game. So we're going to go pretty big, I think, here. Try to get called off by the 5 ball. Yeah, I like the sizing. 3, 3, 3, 3 into 5, 6. And that's exactly what happens. So nice to see a well played hand after a couple of erroneous plays in the early game by us, by me. So always fun to tool around a little bit when deep, but we definitely just want to play max EV as often as we can, of course, even when we're having fun. So yeah, I don't mind this even out of position, a 3-way pot, getting odds of 3 to 1 with a hand that plays quite well multi-way. And just getting out of the way here, never good, never really drawing too much either. Even the queen's not necessarily that clean a card when it comes. So the next hand we play is the pocket 8s. Again, we're still over 130 deep, so we're calling. Yeah, definitely calling. Can raise here. 10, 7, 9 a heart, two tone of hearts. I guess this deep, I'm quite happy just to flat my draws. It's kind of semi-value, semi-draw hand. And just go for a showdown. Getting out of the way when the 2 paint cards come, we get the river bet. I think that's fine as played. But yeah, flop is definitely an option to raise, so you have some tricky decisions when it gets clicked back at you. Probably just flat a lot, I suppose, this deep. So, isolation play, sizing looks alright. Get a couple of callers. We miss, but we're going to continue. We're going to at least take a stab, maybe double barrel certain runouts. So I'm going, again, anywhere around half pot I think is okay. Do decide in game 2, check it back. Don't really like that. I think this guy is kind of defined actually because he's been a little tight, but we've only got 15 hands in, so we can't say much. So we do pick up a bit of equity there, so we've got to stick around for that. We've actually got the old double gutter there, haven't we? We can hit the 9 or the king. So definitely a good price to stick around, and we just give it up. I imagine some of you folks watching this will be people who've played in this game, so you'll get some good reads on me for next week. I'll have to mix it up a bit if I see any of you again. Keep you on your toes. So don't expect me to make quite so many errors in the early game though. So again, still sizing it at least almost 3x, still very deep, and going with, you know, most aces from the hijack there. This could be a fold, I think, for sure. So I'll move along to the next hand we play. We move tables, pick up pocket tens. Do decide to raise it here now. I don't mind a flat here, actually, where we're mega deep. But the thing is, when we do raise it and we get 4-bet, we're actually so deep that we can flat. We can't stack off. Stacking off would be horrific. 150 deep, 160 deep with tens. Probably don't want to stack this much deeper than 40 with antes, to be honest. So, yeah, we're not trying to get stacks in, but we definitely can raise for value. He's going to flat call us a lot. When he does 4-bet, we can actually stick around depending on how he sizes it. So we build a pot. I don't mind building a pot out of position when we've got such a strong hand. So we continue for value on flops such as this, of course. I like to go a bit less than I went pre. And I'm going to check call the queen. I think we definitely get bets from draws, but called the flop. Want to represent the queen as well. Semi-bluff it. So I like a check call. I think on almost any sizing, to be honest. So he does check it back, and we decide to go for thin value on the 4. Of course, he does have some draws in there, as we said. And perhaps once in a blue moon, he has a 4. So if we get raised, as we do, we're folding. Now he gives us odds of 5 to 1. So the thing is, if he's a canny, aggressive player, he can bluff here. If he thinks that we're just never looking up that light. He does go very, very small though, so I'd be very surprised if this was a bluff that often. I know a bit about this guy from later in the tourney. I know he was pretty wild, so looking back on it, we may be able to add in a couple more bluffs in this range, but nonetheless, we didn't know that at this stage. So I think it's just a disciplined fold, given that texture. So I do wonder if Airstripper's watching. That would be fun. I think he's a regular of some sort. He was chatting with Dino, Robbo. I believe these two are quite regulars on the PokerTube scene to some extent. So just stealing the Kojak there, getting it through. And these videos be bite-sized. So we'll look at early stages today. We'll skip this for the next video. We'll try to get to the end game of this one. And end game for me, which was I think 501k, where we got our aces cracked, I believe, if I recall correctly. And we'll just keep them bite-sized 20-minute pieces, just to profile this tourney and quite how soft it is, quite a good value it is, good fun as well. Always nice to splash around deep stack 6 max with kind of somewhat of a fast structure. So we're defending super wide here. I wouldn't recommend this actually. I think it's too wide, splashy stuff. We're going to give up on this flop, which is fine. But I do like to defend wide, especially deep. And it's not necessarily a mistake to defend almost everything. But I think I'd probably draw the line at something like 4-5 suited, 4-6 suited, something like that. I think better to throw away that bottom few percent. Now, skipping ahead once again. Got the old ace-10 suited. I think it's definitely a call in this case. Got the button. Plays well in a non-race pot, and again just dropping it when we fail to hit. Starting to see a pattern with this guy. 56 over 9 hands, no kind of sample. You do want kind of 50 odd hands for a sample, but yeah, he's looking pretty badly behaved. So as you'll see as this tourney unfolds, as we get to 50, 60, 70 hands or what have you, you'll see him sticking on pretty much these stats, which is interesting. So we'll have a fair bit to say about him and a few interesting clashes with him. So these will be going up in a batch, I would imagine. So have a look out for part 2 of these. Have a look at the live stream Rory runs on PokerTube main site, main page, every Monday and Tuesday. Sign up, jump in the game, get in that league, win yourself a PS4. With 250 euros added, you're looking at quite a chunk of change just up there on top. It's essentially like a 180 set and go with a varied number of players, but with bigger prizes up there. So what we'll close with is just letting you know that I do coach. Always happy to take on new students from PokerTube folks. Here's my coaching card. As you can see, I've got very reasonable rates, and I do, for those of you grinding out the micros, I do offer flexible rates and services for them. So very happy to take an email. I do free consultations on Skype as well. So drop me an email and we'll work something out if that's something you're interested in. You'll be getting a lot of free content from me, of course, in these reviews as well. But if you want a chance to look at your own game, that's the way to do it. Okay, so all the best, guys. Good luck at the Veld. Hope to see you in the tournament, and see you in part 2. Cheers.